Hello, welcome back to another episode of Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. I'm Deshae, the oldest sibling.
I'm Sage, the middle sibling.
And I'm Storm, the youngest sibling.
The reason I was laughing was because I was going through our YouTube channel the other day, and the pictures that it picks for us, like some of them were like smiling, and some of them were like doing something, and some of them were just like,
they're horrible.
So bad. Yeah. And so I think about that when you start the recording. I'm like, what's it going to choose? Do I need to start doing something? Exactly.
Just constantly be like,
yeah, just a constant smile.
It's horrible. Well, I have to learn how to make
thumbnails.
Oh my god! Can we do like the super cringy ones?
Yes.
Oh my god!
I'm sure it's not
got,
hard.
Like really bright colored things.
Yes, absolutely. Clickbait.
That's horrible.
We could absolutely do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want people to click on us.
Clickety click.
Don't start that because I'm going to be telling the story yawning.
I'm sorry. I don't know what is going on with my life.
Well, it's Monday.
My gluten allergy.
It's
your self-diagnosed gluten allergy.
Yeah, my self-diagnosed. Richard all the time. I'll say anything. I'll be like, oh, I forgot to do that. And he'll be like, there's your gluten allergy. I'm like, shut up.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Hey, whatever. At least you have something to blame it on.
Yeah. Speaking of like gluten and eating, I've been eating way too many cookies recently because for some reason our clients, we've had like 3 or 4 different clients that have worked at cookie places just bring us cookies. And our shop is like, so we have a Tiff's Treats and an Insomnia employee that come get tattooed by us. And they bring us treats. And my client specifically is the Insomnia employee. And they had been getting tattooed by me for a while. And they were like, I just want to kind of like talk to everybody and feel everybody out. And I was like, I mean, that's not weird. Like, you're going to be here a lot. You're going to have to talk to us a lot. And they were like, no, like, I want to figure out what kind of cookie you are. And I was like, tell me more. I need to know.
That's weird.
Yeah. And they were like, well, I'm going to bring you guys some cookies. And they brought us some cookies. And each of us had a package with our name on it. And it had 2 cookies in it. And they decided which cookies we were by like, when they talked to us, basically. They were spot on. Like,
that's
perfectly
cool.
spot on.
Crazy.
Mine was Snickerdoodle, obviously. And like butterscotch chocolate chip. Yes.
That sounds delicious.
It was crazy. Yeah. They did very good. And it's like a weird talent, like telling people what cookie they are, but obviously I'm a Snickerdoodle. Like, come on.
Obviously. I mean, of course. Obviously. I mean, that's immediately what I thought was like Snickerdoodle. You know what I mean?
Duh.
Yeah. But it's got to be something, but I feel like it'd have to be something that's like relevant. You know, like you can be like, you know, I really think that you're like a cotton candy marshmallow. Because you're like, who the hell's making cotton candy marshmallow cookies? Like,
exactly. Yeah. Like one of our artists, he drinks coffee all the time. And so she got him, it was like this dark chocolate chip cookie that like goes really well with coffee. And so she's
perfect.
They were very, very good about what they were doing. It was wild. It was really crazy.
I don't know what, I think they're like butter cookies or whatever. You know those Christmas tins that have the little cookies in them? Those are my absolute favorite. And I will literally sit with a cup of coffee. And I don't even drink the coffee. I just dip the cookie in the coffee.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yeah,
so good.
We have
espresso. Matt loves those too.
Yeah, we have an espresso maker at work, but our artist makes like this Cuban coffee out of it. And that's what he does. He has like these little packets of cookies that he makes every morning.
Cuban coffee?
I bet that's strong.
Oh my God.
I was about to say, so he's like this all day? He's like,
yeah. So, he's not though. And he drinks it like 3 or 4 times a day. And he's like, Sage, you want some coffee? God. And I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I have to tattoo somebody.
I'm gonna have a full blown panic
exactly.
attack. Yeah.
No, I can't. And he was like, people that don't drink coffee, I just don't trust. And then he looks at me and I'm like, sorry, dude. I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to do. I can't be drinking that
He's
much
probably just
caffeine.
used to it.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I probably drink
Because
more coffee than I should, but
yeah,
not Cuban coffee.
yeah. When he first started working there, he would bring in a thermos and he would just like give us some. And we were like, this is like the best coffee I've ever had. Like, where do you get it from? And he would not tell us. And then finally I was like, dude, you can't gatekeep the coffee. He leaves and he comes back and he has an espresso maker and some of the coffee and the sugar and like everything that you need to make it. And he sets it up in the back and starts making everybody coffee. It was awesome.
Oh, I love coffee.
I don't think coffee gives me like energy. Like I don't, I just like the taste of it.
That's the ADHD.
I do, yes. But sometimes I say the same thing, but like sometimes in the afternoon, because I usually will get a cup. My thing keeps moving around. I usually get a cup like after lunch, because usually after I eat lunch, my body's like, we're done for. Go take a nap. Or we're not doing anything. So I go get a cup of coffee, and it won't like wake me up, but I'm not like, what? Where am I?
Right.
Exactly.
I'm like, at least I'm awake enough to like do something.
Yeah.
It's just so much more healthy than an energy drink,
It's true. I can't stop drinking energy drinks, and it's horrible. My client brought me one yesterday, and I was like, dude, I appreciate this, but I just had one. And so I'm like sipping on it while I'm tattooing her. And I'm like, just don't drink too much of it because I'll start shaking.
Yeah.
Bad.
I literally, I'm going to totally tattle on my friend, but she drinks an excessive amount of coffee. And she had this like big Starbucks drink that she brought in to work. And then we went out for lunch and she had gotten another big Starbucks drink. And then her husband came in and brought her another big Starbucks drink. And after he left, she came up. She's like, do you want this? She's like, I've already had way too much coffee and I couldn't tell him no. So I need you to drink it. And I was like, well, he's not going to I'm like, yes, I'll take it. But I'm like, he's not going to
throw that shit away. That would make my stomach hurt. That is too much.
Yes. Yeah.
She drinks so much coffee. Yeah.
First of all,
I will
like
have
if
one.
it's Starbucks, it most likely has like the milk and like the sweeteners and stuff in it.
That's, ton of it.
So much.
And then she always do. She was, before she left, because she left, they moved. And before she left, she came and brought me this like pack of caffeine pills. She's like, you can have these. I was like, what is happening?
She just happened to have them in her desk, like cleaning shit out.
Yes. She was like, my husband doesn't like that I have this much caffeine. If he knows that I have these, he's not going to be happy with me. I'm like, yeah, because you have an excessive amount of caffeine. That's
oh my
God. Are you
God.
an overnight trucker? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. Your poor heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trucking all night and going to work all day. Yeah.
Right? I feel like that's the only people that like actually use those. Maybe like
caffeine
back
pills?
in the day, that was the only people that actually used them.
Or like meth.
I think that's what it is, basically. So
literally, yes.
That's what it is. So like,
oh my gosh. Do you want these caffeine pills? Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. I mean, that's basically right.
That's pretty much what it is. That's like, yeah.
I mean, caffeine pills. I don't think I've ever seen caffeine pills.
You can buy them anywhere. 7-Eleven, CVS.
Yeah.
I mean, they're over. It's just like, it's literally like one is equivalent to a cup of coffee. So it's not like
Storm, isn't that what we used to take?
Like when you drink that much coffee.
Isn't that what we used to take when we worked at Planet? They were like, diet pills. But they had an excessive amount of caffeine in them. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember, yes, I just don't remember what they were called. But they weren't caffeine pills, but they had caffeine in them.
The only reason I remember that...
You, like, eat less, but still have energy.
The only reason I remember that is because we were talking about it at like 11:30 at night, and we decided to go to Walmart. This is when Walmarts were open 24 hours a day. And we go to Walmart like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're like walking down the aisle, like reading all the little bottles and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I remember what they were called. Yes. But one of the girls I work with, she takes them just because she doesn't like coffee. So instead of drinking a cup of coffee, she takes a caffeine pill.
There's a thing right now on the internet. It's called Wanna Bump, and it's powdered caffeine, and it comes in a little vial, and it's snortable caffeine.
No, why?
That is so bad for you.
What is wrong with people?
The
thing is, like,
that it doesn't need to be like.
Yeah.
So it's a little bottle, and it's like 250 milligrams for like the entire thing. So 250 milligrams is close to like an energy drink as far as how much caffeine you're getting. And so like it's not really that crazy or anything, but it's just funny. And they sell like little $100 bills that you can like roll with it.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But if you snort it, it's getting to your brain cells.
So
your brain's like, yeah.
I may or may not have tried some.
Of course you did.
It doesn't do that. So it doesn't do that. It's really funny because she brought it, like someone brought it into the shop and they show us, and I'm like, bro, like you can't do that shit here. And she's like, no, this is what it is. And she like shows me what it is. And I was like, okay, well, let me try it now. And so I try it. It was literally like drinking like a soda. Like if you snort a little bit of it, it's like drinking a soda. It's really not that crazy.
Yeah.
It's just funny that that's what it is. And like, can you imagine how many people are going to get in fucking trouble with that stuff?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Man.
Crazy. The world these days. Kids these days.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Kids these days. You know what I mean?
I looked at our analytics and no one under
extreme.
Yes, exactly. I looked at our analytics and no one under 18 listens to us, so we're fine.
Oh, okay.
Unless they're lying on their Spotify. But you never know.
Yeah.
Could be.
Exactly.
It says explicit, so get off.
Exactly.
Not for kids.
Yeah,
it literally makes
not.
us say that on YouTube.
Yeah, yes.
It's like,
is this for kids? Yes.
No. Not even
no.
If it says yes, if we say yes, will it go on YouTube Kids?
Yeah.
Does it have to go through like a?
I wonder.
Like a
because
screening?
It does go through a screening.
I'm assuming it does because I had a client that worked for YouTube, and her job was to, like, when people report things, she had to check them and see if it was actually what they reported it for. But apparently there's different like departments. Like, so when you report a video on YouTube, it gives you options, and it's like, why are you reporting this? And it's like violence. There's a bunch of different things, but hers was violence. And it was crazy because she was literally like a rainbow of a person. She dressed in all rainbows. She was very like giddy and happy. And I was like, how do you do this? And she was like, the reason I am like this is because I have to do that. I'm like, I get it. But I assumed that they would.
Job, please.
Exactly. Because I asked her, I was like, are they hiring? And she was like, you don't want to do this. Like, if you don't have to do this, you do not want to do this. Because I was like, oh, you just get to watch YouTube videos all day. And she was like, no, you don't understand what people upload on YouTube.
Like, I'm watching people get murdered. I'm watching people get tortured. I'm watching, like, people
it's
put
crazy.
horrific things on YouTube.
It's horrible.
But if they have like a full department for one complaint, like, I'm assuming that they would have something that like every video that goes onto kids' YouTube has to be checked. I would assume.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Like we say, it says, for kids, not for kids. Obviously I check not for kids, but then at the end, it'll say like is this public, private, or something else? And I always put public because so,
I mean, anyone
but
can
that's
watch
after I've said no kids.
Right. Exactly.
No kids.
So, yeah. But I don't know.
We can't have children on this podcast.
No.
No.
Don't do it.
Even though we've had some on audio before.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. But
It's
he has
fine.
no
They
clue
don't
what's
know.
going on. So.
Yeah, they don't know.
He's just an idiot, you know?
It's okay.
What a dum-dum.
Oh, Lord. He's so stupid. Oh, my gosh. Poor Sam, the cheerleader, man.
He's a mess. He started saying, not nice. That's
Oh,
not
no.
nice, he says. And the other night, I don't remember what it was, Matt was at a meeting, and so I was putting him in bed and everything, and he was just crying, like he hadn't had a nap that day. He was ready, but he was just being a brat. So I take him and I make him go lay down, and he lays down and he's like drinking his juice, and he's like, Mama, not nice. Not nice. And then he just rolls over like he's gonna go to sleep. And I'm like, hey.
And it's like all you have in you not to be like, listen, you little fucker. Like, you want to talk about not nice? I'll tell you not nice. Like, good.
Oh my god.
So funny.
Okay, I have one last thing that I have to talk about before we start this. Speaking of mothers, have you guys seen the comparison of Gypsy Rose's new boyfriend to her mother?
Yes.
They're exactly the same person.
Literally.
They think it's her brother. There's a conspiracy out there that people think it's her brother. Because there's a couple of videos of it's like a slider that goes from him to her, and they're the same person. It's the exact same person. So people think it's her brother. Like if she was hiding all that other shit, who knows what actually.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
and ridiculous.
Creepy.
Yes, it's really wild. Sorry, I had to mention that. Speaking of mothers.
Wow.
Well, now that I'm going to have that on my brain.
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to hear a creepy story?
Yay. Actually, no, because you were like, I hate this story, but I'm going to tell it. And I was like, cool, great. I can't wait to hear it.
That's how we know it's a good one.
It's not cute. It's not cute. None of these are. But maybe the ending overall is kind of okay. I don't really know. I'm indifferent about it. But I've heard this story before on a couple different podcasts, and this is about kids. Trigger warning. Sorry.
Awesome.
I don't. Yeah.
As we talk about.
Yeah.
Kids on the podcast.
Right. So, and it's, I don't know, but I'm going to go back and forth between, of course, my little paper here and some other notes I have. So here we go. This is Mary Bell. Has anyone heard of her?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You know what it is?
I'm sure I will once you start telling the story, but I don't know names.
Okay. Sorry.
It's like, I'm not going to say anything.
The cheerleading man?
I know who this is.
No, it's your oldest nephew.
You like Corbett Chavez?
He's trying to be quiet. Thank you.
He's just
Love
huge,
you.
so he's just like boom.
Exactly. Yeah, you can just
he's
hear
so tall. It's like 5, 4, you know. He's a literal giant.
Literally. Well, I mean,
he was like 6'4" in high school.
Yeah.
I know. He's
6'4". Yeah,
huge.
Oh Lord.
And he's tall and super skinny.
Where to get that from?
Exactly.
Me before I had him, maybe.
You weren't tall though.
No, but he got that from our side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I guess mom's got super tall uncles.
Our great aunts and uncles are tall.
Super tall.
Yeah. Sure.
Like crazy tall.
Yeah.
It skipped us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okie dokie. Mary Bell. So Mary was born May 26th, 1957 in England. Her mother, Elizabeth Bell, was known as the local prostitute. And she would often travel to other parts of the country to work, mainly to Glasgow to work. So she would leave her kids with their father if he was around, because he was kind of, you know, in and out as well. Or they would just be them by themselves. So Mary was definitely neglected, unwanted. Her aunt had even said at one point that when Mary was placed in her mother's arms right after she was born, her mom said, "Take the thing away from me."
Oh.
I just couldn't. Mm-mm. So as a child, Mary had a lot of injuries when she was alone with her mother, and her family thought that maybe her mother was doing it on purpose. Deliberately, obviously she was neglectful and everything like that. So who knows? It's probably true. Who knows? Once she even dropped Mary out of the first floor window. And on another occasion, she gave her a bunch of sleeping pills.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And she's
I hate this woman.
Mm-hmm. Her mom refused repeated offers from other members of her family that were like, "Hey, we'll take her. You know, we'll take the kids," and she would refuse.
What the fuck?
Why?
Because she was a dominatrix. Supposedly, in her business, she had started allowing sexual abuse with her clients. So, and she would also have sadomasochistic sessions with her clients. And so she would blindfold her and restrain her hands behind her back while forcing her to perform oral sex on her clients. And she's like single digit young when this happens.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So at home and school, Mary showed signs of abuse, obviously. She had really unpredictable behavior. I mean, she would really bad mood swings and chronic bedwetting. She ended up having a really hard time with a lot of the kids at school. She would get in fights, and she would even try to strangle or suffocate her classmates. Excuse me.
Could you imagine, like, that's your defense? Like, that's what you think is okay.
Yeah.
When you're that young.
Mm-hmm. So, as you can imagine, most of her classmates didn't want to be around her. They tried to steer clear of her. She did end up spending a lot of her free time with Norma Joyce Bell, who was 13 at the time. She became a good friend of hers. They had the same last name, but they're not related. Yeah. According to one of her classmates, they said that they could tell when she was about to like get angry and go crazy and try to hurt somebody. She would like do the like shaking her head thing. And they said that she had, what do they call it? A steely gaze. She would just look at you like all crazy like.
Yeah.
And they knew that she was about to lose her shit. So, all right, here we go. May 11th, 1968, police find a 3-year-old boy wandering around the street. He's bleeding. Sorry. He told the police that he had been playing with Mary and Norma on top of a, what do you call it? An old air raid shelter. And he said that one of them pushed him off. He said he didn't see which one it was. So that same night, there were parents of 3 young girls that said that Mary and Norma had tried to strangle their girls while they played in the sand pit.
Oh my God.
So this is like late 50s. So they're playing in sand pits and stuff like that when you could go outside. Well, maybe you don't want to now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So both Norma and Mary were interviewed. They both deny pushing the little boy. They said that they came upon his body, but that they didn't do anything. Like they weren't a part of it, is what they said.
Yeah.
In regards to attempting to strangle the girls, Mary denied it, but Norma said that Mary did it. And this is what she said. She said, Mary went to one of the girls and said, what happens if you choke someone? Do they die? Then Mary put both hands around the girl's throat and squeezed. The girl started to go purple. I told Mary to stop, but she wouldn't. Then she put her hands around Pauline's throat and she started going purple as well. Another girl, Susan Cornish, came up and Mary did the same thing to her. Mm-hmm.
What is going through her brain? So
yeah.
That's fucking
years
creepy.
Of abuse?
Yes.
Terrifying.
Like hearing something like that, I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm. Huh. So due to their age, both of the girls were given just a warning.
Mm-hmm.
A warning?
A warning.
How old is she?
Mm-hmm.
She's like 8 now, right? Or is
She's
she
10.
older? 10, that's right.
She's 10.
Mm-hmm.
She's 10. Norma is 13.
Mm-hmm.
So May 25th, 1968 was the day before Mary's 11th birthday. She strangled and killed 4-year-old Martin Brown in his home. His body was found by 3 other kids that were in the neighborhood, and they would all just go in and out of each other's houses playing and stuff. So he was found by 3 kids. He was laying on his back with his arms up above his head. He only had like specks of blood and then some foam around his mouth. That's the only sign of any kind of violence that you could see on him. One of the adults that was in the home, John Hall, tried to do CPR on him. And while he was doing so, Norma and Mary watched in the doorway. They ran to the little boy's aunt's house and said, one of your sister's kids had an accident. We think it's Martin, but we can't tell because there's blood all over him.
What the hell?
Just trying to cause
so during the
yeah,
literally that's the end goal seems. During the autopsy, they were unable to find any signs of violence or anything at all. So they said, the coroner's office said they were unable to determine the cause of death. So they told the police that he had died from poisoning by ingesting pills. How would you know
Did you
that?
find pills in his stomach?
Right. They just made it up.
Makes zero fucking sense. And like, I mean, she was little, so maybe she didn't leave a lot of marks on his neck, I'm assuming, because they said there wasn't a lot, but I would assume you would see something.
To choke somebody that long?
Yeah.
There would still be signs that, like, there would still be signs.
Yeah. Something. Okay. So that was little Martin Brown. So sad. It was only 4. That's disgusting. So on Mary's 11th birthday, the next day, her and Norma broke into and then just like tore up, vandalized a nursery. I think it was one of those like a plant nursery.
Mm-hmm.
In a nearby area. So they entered by peeling tiles off of the roof. They tore up books. Maybe it was a nursery, like a kid's nursery. It doesn't specify. They turned desks over. They smeared ink and I think it was a kid's nursery. Hello.
Yeah.
And paints all over before they left. Sorry, I have a fucking tickle in my throat. It's annoying me. The following day, the staff came in. They discover, holy shit, there's been a break-in. They tell the police. The police come, and they find some notes, 4 separate notes that claimed responsibility for Martin Brown's murder. One of them said, and remember how old they are when I read these too. I murder so that I may come back. Another one said, we did murder Martin Brown, and his name's spelled wrong because these are quotes, by the way. We did murder Martin Brown. Fuck off, you bastard. Such dirty mouths.
No.
A third note read, fuck off, we murder. Watch out, Fanny and, I don't want to say this word, but Fanny and faggot. The last note said, you are mice. Why? Because we murdered Martin Brown. You bet, look out. There are murders about by Fanny and Ald faggot, you screws. I'm sorry, those are really fucked up, but you can barely tell. Basically saying, if yeah, like, we did it.
Yeah, but they're also like, I feel like those other words are like two people that they're calling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That, you know, and they're like,
that's
I'm
also what I was
person
thinking.
and this person too.
Yeah. Weird.
So the police are like, oh, this is just some childish kids. It's a prank. Okay. That was it. That was they. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why would you just assume that? It might be, but you don't just assume that.
Right. Especially when it happened the day before.
Mm-hmm. Literally. So 2 days later, right before Martin Brown's funeral, Norma and Mary went up to his mother's house and they were asking to see her son. So June Brown, which is Martin's mother, she said they could not see her son because he was deceased. Mary said, oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Apparently they did that because they said they were playing a game of chicken and they wanted to see who would do it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let's get through this one, okay? I don't know why I did this, but okay.
Thanks, Deshae. We love it.
Sorry. I am a mother. This is hard.
Well, and I'm thinking as like an adult, and I'm thinking how effed up that is to that mom that you would come to her and ask her to see her dead son. But I'm like, these are literal children. Like, they don't know better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like they are messed up, but they don't understand why it's messed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sitting here like, that is so fucked up. Why the hell would you do that? But I'm like, it's the literal children. Like, they just don't.
The stuff that she was exposed to as like a child is insane. So it's only fitting like how her brain works now. It's fucked up.
She's an absolute product of her environment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. July 31st, in 1968, 3-year-old Brian Howe, he was last seen by his parents out in front of their house in the street. He was playing with one of his siblings and their dog and Mary and Norma. He didn't come home that afternoon. Of course, everybody's concerned. The neighbors, everybody's searching the streets. They can't find him. 11:10 p.m., there's a search party that discovered Brian's body between two large concrete blocks upon, they call it the Tin Lizzie. It's just an area over there, and they had a bunch of like blocks and stuff. That's where they found him. The first policeman said when he arrived at the scene that he said it was a, quote, deliberate but feeble attempt had been made to try and conceal the body. It was covered in clumps of grass and some weeds. And he had already, his lips were blue. And he had some bruises and scratches on his neck. And there was a pair of scissors that were close to him. The coroner concluded that Brian died of strangulation. He had been dead for up to 7.5 hours before they found his body. The killer had squeezed Brian's nostrils closed with one hand and used the other hand to grip his throat. He had some puncture wounds in his legs before he died. Some of his hair had been cut from his head, and his genitals had been partially mutilated. And there was also an attempt to carve an M into his stomach. The coroner said the small amount of force that it took to murder him made him believe that it was a child who did it. And there were gray and maroon fibers that were discovered in Brian's clothes and his shoes. The fibers didn't belong to any clothes from the within his household. So they had definitely been transferred there by whoever killed him.
Right.
Yeah.
So of course this is like, now they're trying to find who this is. This is a big manhunt everywhere. They question a bunch of children, tons of children, 1,200 children to be exact. And on August 1st, they questioned Mary and Norma because they were playing with him shortly before. Norma was like, they said during her interview, she seemed like really nervous and just kind of jittery. Whereas Mary, on the other hand, was very like observant and just kind of chill. Both girls were like, no, we didn't do this. They did admit that they had played with him the day that he died, but they denied that they saw him. They said they didn't see him after lunchtime. They continued questioning them the next day, and Mary said she saw an 8-year-old local boy playing with Brian on the afternoon, and she saw him hitting the child. So she says that this kid did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She also said she remembered that he had been covered in grass and weeds, like he had been rolling in a field, and that he had some small scissors with him. So she's saying the 8-year-old boy was covered in grass and weeds and had small scissors.
Yeah.
So Mary says, I saw him trying to cut a cat's tail off with the scissors, but there was something wrong with them. One leg was broken or bent. So they hadn't given out that information that there was scissors or that they tried to cover up his body. So she basically gives herself up.
Yeah.
So the detective chief inspector is James Dobson. So he's like, okay, she's the killer. She did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the police were the only ones that knew about the scissors. So August 4th, the parents of Norma, they contacted the police and were like, she wants to give you some information about the death of Brian. So Dobson, who's the chief investigator, he goes to their house and he listens to her. She said that Mary had taken her to the spot on Tin Lizzie where they found his body. And she said Mary showed her Brian's body. And then Mary demonstrated how she had strangled him. And according to Norma, Mary said that she enjoyed it. And then she showed her how she cut him. And then she used a razor blade to do the M on his stomach. And then she hid the scissors. So Norma showed the police where she hid the scissors and they found them. And then Norma drew a picture of his body with the marks on it and it was exactly how it actually was.
Yeah. So she absolutely was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mary, they went to her home August 5th, and apparently this time she was really defensive. Because they're telling her, they're like, look, you said this doesn't make sense. How did you know this? So she says, you're trying to brainwash me. I will get a solicitor to get me out of this. She's 10 years old, like, or 11 now. Like,
how does she
even
wow.
How does she even know these things?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Okay, so then Norma is questioned again. She makes a full statement where she admitted that she was present while Mary had strangled Brian. Mm-hmm. She said that they were at the Tin Lizzie, and she said Mary seemed to go all funny. So remember how I told you earlier that the kids said they could tell when she was gonna, that's what happened. Yeah. So she pushed him into the grass and started trying to strangle him. And before she said, my hands are getting thick, take over. So Mary said that to Norma. And Norma said, once she said that, she ran and she just left Mary with him. So the examination of the clothing owned by both of the girls revealed that the gray fibers that were on Brian's body were a match to a dress that Mary owned. And then there were some maroon fibers that were a match to a skirt that Norma had.
So she was more involved than she was letting.
Yeah. Okay. Brian was buried August 7th, 1968, and the ceremony had over 200 people that attended. The chief investigator, Dobbs, he had planned to arrest both of the girls later that day. So Mary was at the Howe house, so at Brian's house. She stood outside as his coffin is brought from the home. And so the chief investigator said, she stood there laughing and rubbing her hands. I thought, my God, I've got to bring her in. She'll do another one. Mm-mm. So both girls were formally charged with the murder of Brian Howe at 8 p.m. that day. In response to these charges, Mary said, that's all right by me. And Norma...
Excuse you?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Norma bursts into tears and says to Mary, I'll pay you back for this. So Mary writes a written statement. Okay, she writes a written statement. Jesus. Of course she wrote it.
Did she write it? Did she write it, though?
She wrote it. Where she admits that she was present when Brian was murdered, but she insists that Norma did it. She also admitted that her and Norma went into the nursery the day after killing Martin, and that they, messed up the property, and that they were the ones that wrote the notes. So both girls are given psychological evaluations. So Norma was intellectually delayed, and she was said to have a very submissive character. And she easily displayed emotion.
Yep.
Mary was really bright, prone to mood swings, introspective, and defensive in nature. So there was 4 psychiatrists who examined Mary, and they said she's not suffering from a mental disorder, but she does have psychopathic personality disorder.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he said her social techniques are primitive, and they take the form of automatic denial, which she has already done, manipulation, complaining, bullying, and flight or violence. So she's either going to run or she's going to kill you.
Fight or flight? Is that what they're saying?
Kind of.
Basically. Yeah.
A little more extreme, though, I think.
So their trial for Mary and Norma begins for the murders of Martin Brown and Brian Howe, December 5th, 1968. So both girls were tried, and it was Justice Cusack, and then there was a jury. They both pleaded not guilty to the charges. Mary's lawyer was Harvey Robson, and Norma's was P. Smith. Okay. So they're both obviously trying to claim innocence, that they were too young, blah, blah, blah. They said both girls knew what they did was wrong and what the results would be, was what the prosecutor said.
Absolutely.
So on the 5th day of their trial, Norma testifies in her own defense, obviously. So she denied that she had any part of the actual murder of either child, but she did admit that she knew Mary's temperament and that she was prone to violence and that she had a history of attacking kids.
Yeah.
So she knew all of this. She was also asked if Mary showed her how she would hurt these kids, and she said yes. She said, then she talks about when Mary starts to strangle Brian. She said there was a group of boys close by, but they weren't close enough. And she said she just kind of stood and froze and she wasn't close enough to get to them. She said, I did not know what was going to happen in the first place.
I mean, with all the shit that they've tried in the past and nothing actually came of it. I can only, oh my God, I can only imagine what she actually thought.
Norma says that Mary stopped hurting him for a bit when those boys were a little bit closer. But then, of course, they left and she just continued. So Norma said she never touched the child. So Mary testifies. Her testimony lasted about 4 hours, December 13th.
Can you imagine an 11-year-old giving a 4-hour testimony?
Jeez. Wow.
They had to take a brief pause because she became so distraught and she was just crying.
Yeah.
She denied everything that Norma said. And she says that she saw Martin's body but she had never harmed him, never hurt him. She said that Norma later asked his mother if she could see the body and that they were just daring each other. She said that she didn't say anything because she knew that if she did say anything that Norma would get Norma put straight away. So now she says she was trying to protect her friend.
Yeah.
So then she's asked about the death of Brian Howe. She said that Norma is the one that strangled him. She said that she was just standing and looking. She said she couldn't move. She said it was as if some glue was pulling us down. She then said that Norma had told Brian that if he laid down, that he would get some sweets. That's so sad because he was so young and probably believed her. She said she told him, you've got to lie down for the lady to come with the sweets. And then she said Norma started strangling him. She said that it was so hard that her fingertips were going white. And then again, she says that she failed to tell the police because she didn't want to get Norma in trouble.
Okay.
So Norma's mother testified that several months prior to Brian's killing, that her and her husband had found Mary attempting to strangle Norma's younger sister, and that she only stopped when Norma's dad punched her in the arm.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's a child psychiatrist that testified. His name's Ian Fraser, and he said that Norma's mental age was 8 years and 10 months. and that although her capacity of knowing right from wrong was limited, she was capable of, knowing what she did. So, December 13th, Norma's defense gives their closing arguments. They're talking about how they're both little girls. Mary's lawyer talks about how she comes from a broken, dysfunctional home. They're trying to say that she has, they called it retarded development of her mind, and that this caused all of this stuff to happen. Yes. So in the closing arguments, Rudolph Lyons, he says the case was macabre and grotesque. One in which he says Mary was clear. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, is it macabre? Macabre? It's macabre? Macabre. What the fuck?
Just like...
Yeah, it looks weird.
What was it? Sam,
oh my God, what is that?
What's it? Sam
Oh, yeah, what was the other one? Yeah,
Samhain.
What is it?
It is not Samhain, it is Samhain, okay? Making me hot. Oh my God, where was I? Okay, so he says that Mary was clearly the more dominant figure here. She was the younger one, but she knew what she was doing. Norma was just the tag. And also, he says Mary has no remorse for what she did. She knows what she did, but she doesn't care.
Yeah.
The trial lasted 9 days. December 17th, the jury took 3 hours and 25 minutes to reach their verdict. Mary Bell was cleared of murder, but she was convicted of manslaughter of both boys. Norma was acquitted of all charges.
What?
Damn.
Mm-hmm. So when they heard this, Norma freaks out, claps her hands. She's so excited. Mary and her mother and her grandmother burst into tears. They're devastated, obviously. Yeah. The judge, he said that Mary was a dangerous individual and that she posed a very grave risk to other children and that steps must be taken to protect the public. She was sentenced to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, which basically means they don't have a definitive time. They don't know how long she's going to be detained.
Yeah.
So at the time that she was convicted, she was 11 years old and 6 months. That makes her Britain's youngest female killer, which she still holds that to this day. She was sent to a remand home, which is basically like a juvenile detention center. Mm-hmm. And then she was transferred to a second one. Then she was transferred to a more secure unit. 1969, she was the only female, and there were 24 other inmates there, and they were all males.
Damn. She
says that she was sexually abused when she was 13 by the guards and some of the prisoners. She said that, so November 1973, she's 16. They transfer her to a more secure prison. Okay, so she applies for parole here, unsuccessful, obviously. Then in 1976, they transfer her to what they call an open prison. I don't really know what that means.
Like a minimum security.
I guess so, yeah. September 1977, Mary makes the papers again when her and another inmate, Annette Priest, escape the prison, the open prison. They spent several days with a couple of guys, and they were going to amusement parks, sleeping in hotels. She had used the alias Mary Robinson. She had dyed her hair blonde. She was basically, trying to stay undetected. But she was arrested again at one of the boys' homes on September 13th. and taken back to the prison. But her only penalty was she lost her prison privileges for 28 days.
That's what she was.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
So 1979, she is transferred to another prison in the open category because they want to prepare her to get released. 1979, she works as a secretary, as a waitress, under supervision. She's released May 1980, and she's 23. She served almost 11 and a half years, and she was granted anonymity. Basically, where they give you a new name. Anonymity.
Oh,
for fuck's sake.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
I was thinking of.
I was making sure I had it right.
So when she's released, there's a spokesperson that she has, and they say Mary wishes to be given a chance to live a normal life and to be left alone. So they release her after only 11 years and give her a new identity. She's 4 years after she was released, she gives birth to a daughter. This is her only child. This child also gets
anonymity. And I can't say it either.
Yeah, that.
Anonymity. Hold on. Let me Google. How do you spell it?
ANO. Hold on. Let me find it again.
It's like the anemone.
ANONYMITY. Anonymity.
Yeah.
That. Yes. Okay. So she gets that, her daughter gets that, and it's even been extended to her granddaughter. Basically, she wasn't going to get it for lifelong, but she fought to get it lifelong. Yeah. So again, her daughter and her granddaughter all have it.
So basically it's like oh my God, witness relocation or what, similar to that.
Yeah, like witness protection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So she's she's out and about.
I guess there's no precedent with something like that either. So like, why? What else are they going to do?
I don't know. She did say that she talked about all the abuse she went through as a child, but she says that does not excuse what she did.
Okay.
It does.
And
not even a little bit.
Yeah. And you don't really hear much about her. There's some TV shows, there's some books.
Mm-hmm.
And she was on Deadly Women. Well, not her, but they did an episode about her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's in her she's an old lady now.
Mm-hmm.
The old lady.
I first heard about that story.
Prison.
Go ahead.
An open prison is a prison that's only for trusted prisoners. They don't usually have like locked cells, and there's very little perimeter security.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to help. It's to help get prisoners back into society, so that they can get jobs and go to work and stuff. So it's just supposed to be, I guess maybe almost like a halfway house.
Yeah,
halfway house, like a work release kind of thing. Yeah, makes sense.
That's so her.
Wild. That
when she was a youngin'.
Haunts me. I first heard about this story when I was in high school, and it has haunted me ever since. It's a tough one. It's hard to.
So little.
Yeah.
So little.
So little, and then the little baby she killed. I just can't.
I know.
And the attempt on the other one, there was an attempt as well.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old boy.
Yeah,
You literally pushed him off of something. A 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm just
that
thinking,
poor little boy. Like, I'm thinking of my kids when they were 3 and like how they could communicate, but like not well. And so I'm just imagining this poor little boy trying to tell these people what happened to him, and he like can't get it out right. Like, I hate it.
I can't. That makes me want to. I mean, that's like Sammy. He'll be 3 in a few months, and like I could not imagine. No,
not even close.
It's terrifying. I don't know why I picked that story.
I know that was a long time ago, but who the hell is letting their 3-year-old go out to run around the neighborhood by themselves?
I know.
Like, that just seems absolutely insane to me. Even like, then, even if it's safe to let your kids go outside, like, what 3-year-old can make proper decisions?
But you know,
like an 8 and a 10-year-old will know, like, I can't run in the street, or like,
I've been watching that show. I think I told you about this. The Call the Midwife show on Netflix. So it's really, I like it. It's in the like, I don't know, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And they're like, it follows midwives in like this town in England. And they would leave their babies outside of their house in their strollers.
They still do that.
Like while they were inside, like chilling or cleaning or whatever. And I'm like, oh, he needs some sunshine. I take him on a fucking walk.
Exactly.
Jesus. I follow these people that live in, I think they live in Switzerland or Sweden, somewhere. And they still do that. They leave their baby outside to take a nap. And it's just like the crime rate over there is so small and like nothing to worry about, that they all feel comfortable leaving their babies outside in their strollers to just chill while they're inside cleaning or cooking or whatever.
Like, I'm not taking my eyes off mine now. I'm like, where the fuck are you? You know, like, no.
But we also live in
Texas,
America,
murder capital, USA.
The great country of Texas.
Great country of Texas.
Exactly.
I literally, there's this little coffee shop out here, and on one of their Facebook posts, they were like, "Happy Texas Independence Day! Please come in to get like 20% off your coffee." And I was like, "Are we seriously celebrating Texas Independence Day?" I mean, I'll get a 20% off coffee, but
oh my god,
it was just funny and made me giggle when I saw it.
Welcome to Texas.
It's already been over an hour. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I was like, "Damn, can you please shut up talking about kids?" God.
Can you stop now? Are we done? That was good.
Speaking of shut up, I hate that word.
Shut up. It's very like aggressive now.
It is. It depends on how you say it, though.
Yeah.
For real.
Mm-hmm. Like, shut up. You know,
shut
up. Like, yeah.
But like, I feel like seriously, like I hate.
Yeah. But I think it was because like we used to hear it so much as kids, like from like Clueless and shit. Like we used to hear it so much, and now it's just kind of like grating. But I don't hear it very often, so when I do, it's very like scratchy. Like I don't like it.
Yeah, like if I were to hear one of my kids say it, I would be like, "Excuse me?" You know?
Yeah. Right?
What
the fuck? Shut up. Yeah. That's where you go. Not nice.
Not nice.
Exactly.
He says, no, not nice.
We were just watching a TikTok where the kids will like plan with their mom that they're going to tell their mom to shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the dad, see their face, like we were watching one, and he was just sitting down. He was just eating. He had this whole meal, and the mom was like, "I told you to go get your laundry done. You need to go get your laundry out of there so I can start my laundry." And she was like, "Mom, will you just shut up about it?" And he gets up, and I was like, and then the mom was like, "It's just a joke. It was a prank. It was a prank." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Please do not prank the dads. They are going to have an aneurysm."
I kind of say it as like an exclamation. Like if someone says something crazy to me, I'm like, "Oh my God, shut up. Stop."
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's fine. It's when like you're genuinely like telling someone like
shut
up. Or,
Yeah.
like,
It's very aggressive.
It is. It is.
even when I like when you were like, I say shut up, I'll say shut your mouth.
Oh
shut
man.
the front and back door.
Shut it all.
And the windows.
Also, while you're at it, take several
Oh my
seats.
And the trash out.
Exactly.
Yep.
that story has been heavy on my mind for a while. I hate that story, but it
hate it.
plagues me
everything
because
about it.
Exactly, because she was a kid. Like,
yes,
there was no precedent for it, and there hasn't really been anything like that ever since, as far as I know.
Maybe not in England. I'm sure there has been in America.
Yeah,
I think there's a whole TV series about killer
kids.
Yeah.
Her specifically, she was
but maybe not that young.
No, and they were also calling her like a serial killer because it was only 2 kids, but she also attempted a third. So
it was multiple in a short amount of time.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, if they hadn't got her, she would have done it again for sure.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, that's so wild.
And again, like, what did her mom get?
Right,
nothing.
Where is her mom during all of this?
I don't
exactly. Well, her mom was at the trial, and I'm like, did they not hear what she was saying that her mom made her do when she was a kid? And they're just like,
yeah, exactly.
They're like,
okay.
oh,
like
she's just kidding.
And then I really hope that mom felt like absolute crap. Like, I hope it tore her apart. What happened? Like,
yeah.
Well, I wonder what Mary did, like, after she was released and, like, just went on to live her life. Like, she's taken people's lives, and, like, how does she live with that? Like, I'm sure she's gone through a ton of therapy or something, but, like, I wonder, like, did she try to reach out to the families and apologize? You know, anything
I'm
like
sure
that?
She was very much told not to do that.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. I mean, whether it's an anonymous note or something, you know, but like something. I don't know.
The guilt that people must, but she also didn't have any remorse. Like, at the beginning, she didn't have any remorse. It sounded like she did at the end, at least. But she's also really good at getting her way. So it's so interesting.
I'm glad that's over.
I hate this story. I've heard it so many times, and I just never know how to feel about it. I never know what to think. It's horrific and it's fucking horrible.
I'm gonna cry about it later.
Exactly. Yeah. It's wild.
Okay.
Speaking of fun, did you know that the cartoon Avatar that was on Disney?
Oh my god, yes.
Not the blue people, but like
yeah.
Or no, it was Nickelodeon. It wasn't
Avatar:
Disney.
The Last Airbender.
They made it into. So I know they have the movie, right? But Netflix made it into a series. So there's like an 8-episode series on Netflix, and it is fantastic.
Really? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it.
So I hated the movie.
Garrett started watching it.
Yeah, I hated the movie. And I was scrolling past, I was on Netflix, and I was like, why did they put this movie on here? And then I saw a TikTok about it.
That's what took me so long to watch it.
Exactly. I saw a TikTok and I was like, hold on. And Avatar is and was my shit. Like, I was obsessed with it for a very long time. I have to watch it. The clip that I saw was Sokka, and the actor that plays Sokka, like, how he does it is exactly like the cartoon. So I know it's going to be good.
That's good. That's good.
I'm so excited. Jeez. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to watch something like that after this. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up.
Well, Storm, where can they find us if they want to listen to more of us? I need to stop saying it like
we
that.
are on Facebook. Well, I mean,
it's true.
Like kind of what it is, right?
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
We are on Facebook, Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. We are on Instagram at Three Swift Podcast. Go on there, like, comment, do all the things. Also, please rate and review. It's super, super helpful for us. And go watch us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can rate on there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or like or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But do all that and comment and share and tell all your friends and your family and your dog.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, don't tell them about Mary Bell.
No.
Yeah. Tell them not to listen to this episode in
this
particular.
episode in particular. All right. Well, that's what happens when three siblings walk into a bar.